How many times have you been told to sit up straight? It sounds so simple, right? But for a lot of us, it feels like this constant losing battle. And we tend to brush it off, thinking a hunchback is just, about how we look. But what if I told you that our source material suggests it's a sign of something much, much deeper, a kind of internal crisis? Let's really dig into what's going on here. All right, so first things first, we have to completely change the way we think about bad posture. This isn't just skin deep. It's not about what you see in the mirror. It's all about what's happening or what's gone wrong deep inside your body's actual structure. So let me ask you straight up. Is a hunchback really just about looks? Is it just a bad habit you need to break? Well, our source makes a really powerful point here. It argues that if you believe that, you're actually missing the real problem entirely. It's what keeps us from getting to the root of it. I mean, you've seen this happen, right? Or maybe you've even done it yourself. You try to straighten up, you really do, but your back is still stooped. Nothing really changes. So why is that? It's because, as the source points out, we're way past the point of it being just about muscle memory. It's so much deeper than that. And here is the absolute key. We are talking about a structural change. Think about that. Years and years of compression on your muscles and bones, they don't just get tight. They physically start to alter their shape. I mean, the source gives a great example. Think about an elderly person with a deep stoop. You can't just tell them to sit up straight. It's impossible. Their body has literally changed and adapted to that hunch position. So, okay, this structural change, it's like pulling the first domino. It sets off this whole chain reaction of really bad stuff, creating what you could call a silent crisis inside the body that, honestly, most of us are completely clueless about. And this damage isn't random, it's systematic. According to the source, we're talking about 4 major areas of internal damage. First, your bones, then your internal organs. It also starts to constrict what traditional Chinese philosophy calls the meridians. Think of them as the energy highways in your body. And maybe the scariest one, it seriously restricts blood flow to your brain. Okay, ever have that massive energy crash right after lunch? The midday slump? Well, the source has this really fascinating explanation for it. In the morning, the energy in nature is what's called yang. It's active, it's warm, but right around noon, there's a shift. It becomes yin, which is all about cooling down and condensing. Now, for a healthy body, that's fine, but for a body that's already compromised by a hunchback, that shift can be completely overwhelming. And that's when it all comes together. Your blood flow is already restricted from the hunching, right? So that midday energy shift is like the final straw. Your brain is literally being starved of oxygen. And we're not just talking about being a little sleepy after you eat. This is a state of chronic brain oxygen deficiency. That's where that constant fatigue and that mental fog comes from. So what's the logical thing to do? You probably think, okay, I'll just go to the gym, right? Strengthen those back muscles, do some rows. That should fix it. But wait, the source throws up a huge red flag right here. Believe it or not, for someone with a true structural hunchback, conventional exercise can actually be dangerous. I mean, think about it. Your entire frame is off. Your posture, your center of gravity, it's all out of whack. Your body's natural ways of protecting itself are just gone. The author says that trying to just power through it with willpower, that's a recipe for even worse injuries. So if hitting the weights isn't the answer, then what is? Well, this is where the source proposes a totally different approach. Instead of trying to force change from the outside in, the idea is to methodically rebuild your body from the inside out. And that solution is a practice called Neigong, which translates to internal work. Now, this is not your typical exercise. We're not talking about targeting external muscles like your biceps or your lats. This is a deep, meditative practice that focuses on cultivating your body's internal energy and, crucially, realigning its deep internal structure. The path to getting better, as the author lays it out, is actually pretty clear. It's a journey, really. It starts with just acknowledging how deep the problem really is. Then, it takes a serious commitment to long-term, continuous practice. And look, this isn't some quick-fix 30-day challenge. It's a real journey toward a fundamental transformation. But the payoff? It's huge. The author makes it very clear. This isn't just about saving yourself or fixing your posture. It's about giving yourself a chance to feel, well, reborn. The practice promises it will bring, and I'm quoting here, an unprecedented great change to your body and mind. So you might be wondering, who is this person giving all this pretty unconventional advice? Well, understanding the author's background is actually really important for seeing why this perspective on healing is so unique. The author's name is I Hung Chen. Now, he has a PhD in Chinese literature from National Chengchi University, with his research covering everything from Chinese philosophy and classics to Taoism, meditation, and Buddhism. So he really understands the deep history here. But what's really key is his lineage. He's trained in Tibetan Nyingma practices like Tsaolong and Dzogchen. These are really profound systems that are all about mastering your internal energy and the connection between your mind and body. And all of this really brings us to the final takeaway. The source is challenging us, really challenging us, to look past the easy surface-level fixes for problems that are actually really deep-seated. It suggests that real, lasting change doesn't come from forcing things on the outside, but from doing patient, internal work. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what could you change from the inside out?